All right. Happy Monday, guys. Welcome to episode 5 of Stream Live Tampa. We got Coach Kennedy Duran on here, former Longhorn coach and new Sumner Stingray baseball coach. We'll have a deep dive into a little bit about his background and then kind of wrap up this Corona season, and we're going to go into the next season, and flowers will bloom next year. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely.
All right. First, before we get going, I'd like to give some shout outs to our sponsors, ASTV, our friends from the North, number one source of amateur sports. We have a good partnership with them, and we appreciate what they do. So big shout out to you guys. Lucas Oil, the OG, the original. All right. AC Services, call him. Free services, free estimates, excuse me. AC service, Lucas Oil. Lucas AC. Gametime Prospects. Okay, Llerandi gloves. All right, Coach Duran. Good seeing you, man. How's everything going with your online teaching at this point?
Hey, e-learning is going well. I can do probably another 10 years at this rate with the quarantine and the e-learning. It's actually pretty well.
That's good. So I just want to kind of, break that a little, obviously as teachers, we both understand kind of the flow of how it's going. So how is this time giving you maybe a different perspective on baseball and life?
The coolest thing about being at home and the new abnormal, as people call it, it's actually kind of cool, having two daughters that are growing up, one 13, one just turned 17, and just being home at this time where I would be in the middle of a season. It's awkward, but it's kind of cool at the same time, where dinners at the table, lunch at the table, joking around, slip and slide in the backyard, different things, badminton in the backyard. Just all kind of cool things that with the family time that you can actually, now you have the time, and baseball is not taking that majority of the time and your focus at this time.
Yeah, I think that's huge, right? It kind of gets you a reset. How do you feel like maybe this might, increase the longevity of your career? Do you think this little break might actually give you some boost?
This actually, this pause or this break that we call it is kind of like recharge your batteries. I would kill for an umpire to make a bad call right now. That's how I miss baseball that much. And, I love my umpires, but I would take that right now in a heartbeat. That's how much baseball is being missed in my household. You know what I mean? Our weekends, my week consists of regular baseball, and my weekends consisted of softball with my daughters. And so 7 days a week pretty much consisted of some type of baseball activity.
Okay. So big piece missing.
Oh, huge.
So explain to us your upbringing and how you started in baseball.
Actually, it's pretty funny because being Dominican, people think you start, from the crib. Actually, my baseball didn't start until I came to the U.S. My grandfather was a barber, so I was pretty much either school or the barbershop. And so we weren't allowed to play baseball. We played baseball on the side as, 2-on-2, 3-on-2, whatever. You may just make up games. But later on, when we came to the U.S., we migrated to New York, first to New York City. And that's when we were just playing, and this guy saw me playing on the side, and he said, "Hey, I got a little league right down the street. We played so many games." At that time, my dad worked 2 jobs. My mother also worked 2 jobs. So they needed a place for me to be right after school. So that's how I ended up playing actually 3 sports. I ended up playing football when it got cold. Then I wrestled in the winter. Okay. And then baseball came back around.
Nice.
So it was pretty much a babysitting situation where it started, but then, it ended up pretty cool where football was a big part, wrestling was a big part, and then baseball obviously was a big part.
So what led you to pursue, baseball over the other sports?
There's something about baseball that is different than any other sport whatsoever. Not to take away from any other sport, baseball is probably the greatest sport out there. Baseball is the only sport that the defense has the ball. If that shows you how hard the game is, games within games, once you fall in love, it's like your first love of that girl that you first meet, and you never fall out of love because it's just that different. You watch 1,000 baseball games, and you don't watch the same baseball game twice because it's so intricate. And it's, and I always joke around with our basketball coach, and I say to him, one of the things I say to him is, baseball's kind of a smart person thing, so it just moves forward, and people think it's slow, but it's so intricate and so cool that you just fall in love with it.
It's funny you bring up Coach Zarco, so hopefully we can have him on here at some point. But yeah, I mean, he sounds like he's kind of moving on with his career, also going to Armwood. What do you think about your move over there, going to Sumner with the Stingrays? How is this gonna change your life?
Well, it's bittersweet. I mean, I'm 44 years old. I spent 14 years, as you were one of my first classes.
Yes, sir.
We have come a long way. I mean, a piece of me has been left at Leonard. What you meet, the people that you meet, the relationships that you create, just awesome across the board, from administration to, all the different principals that I had, all the different administrators that I had, just the different teachers that have come through. It's pretty cool, kids that you taught, like yourself,
sure,
become teachers and come back and work with you. It's an amazing thing. You're leaving behind, hopefully, a legacy. One of the things that I preached while we were there, and I'm going to kick these 3 words back at you, and you may remember these things, where it was trust, honesty, and accountability. And that program that we built with those 3 pillars equals family. And, family, we don't see family right now. We got family in New York that we don't see, but once we see each other, it's like we never left, and you never skipped a beat.
Definitely. And, one thing that I definitely, leaving for a couple years and coming back, it was fascinating to see, like, the work you did on that field, man. I know you take it back to those first years, man. That field was not pretty. You guys, talking about that accountability, man, that piece is huge. And that's something that it's deep in a culture, to take care of a field like it's, growing food or whatever, right? It's a fruit of whatever you want to make it. And you guys, every year, year in and year out, the same processes. How did you get that going?
I'm a creature of habit. That's a shout out to my dad. My dad was stubborn, and I think I get my stubbornness from my dad, where, he always says, mean what you say and say what you mean. Be honest, okay? People may not like what you say, okay? He always used to use this thing about 90-10 rule. 90% of the time, 10% of the people are never going to agree with what you say, but if you're honest, they're going to see it. And one of the things, like you said, with Leonard, the field was the rock pit. So when they built the school, they used to drop everything, I think, over there. Sure. And, through the years of, it's just pride. Pride in what you do, pride in the uniform, pride in the way you handle yourself. Never cheat the game from the way we wear our pants. Many people ask me, why do you wear your pants that way? It's cool now, but 14 years ago, it wasn't cool when we started wearing our pants that way. And people kind of question you left and right. And, one of the reasons we wear our pants the way we do is to pay homage. It's like when you go back to, Cooperstown. If you're 12 years old, you go back to Cooperstown, you have to wear your uniform the right way, because you're paying homage to those people that came before you. This game is bigger than Kennedy Duran. This game is bigger than Leonard baseball. This is a beautiful game, and it's going to be there years from, people are going to say, who's Kennedy? You know, I started. I was one man of many that had a hand in starting Leonard baseball. I mean, it's a pretty cool process, but I couldn't do it without the people that I met there. You know what I mean? My number one confidant, Victor, was with me. Has been with me for 12 years, 12 out of the 14 years.
No.
So he's seen it built from the ground up. And you know, Victor Martinez is a big help. He's a big help in the process. You know, he always tells me he learned a lot from me, but I learned a lot from the people that came in and helped, and I learned a lot from the students. You know, from the players. One of the things that I wish my players and all my players know, and I tell them without a doubt, that I have no problem telling them how much I love them. You know what I mean? I can guarantee you right now, you ask any one of my players that at one time or another, I have told them how much I love them. You know what I mean? It's you got to live the culture. And that's the one thing that propelled us to where we are today. Or we were last year and the year before and the past 8-7 years.
Definitely. We got Jim. He couldn't unfortunately join us today. Had a couple problems, but he wants to make sure you know that you guys by far had the best pants stirrups in the state. And he wants to go ahead.
Those stirrups became vintage after 10 years. You know what I mean?
And then we also got Mr. Delaney, David Delaney, reaching out, say hi, and he said hi from the 10th man.
Hey, the 10th man is that I was hoping you brought him up because I was going to bring him up. The story behind Mr. Delaney is kind of cool. My players used to say, "Who is that guy that sits out in the right field in the seats? Just a random guy sitting up there. He comes to every game." So he finally came down. He started talking. We started talking, and he's just a beautiful man. Mr. Delaney is a beautiful man, beautiful family. Treated me first class from the go. I mean, I can't imagine a better fan. We honored him a couple years ago with the 10th man jersey, and well deserved. That's a small gesture that we could make for Leonard baseball, and those are the bittersweet moments that I'm going to miss about Leonard baseball.
Definitely a huge cornerstone in sports at Leonard. And then also the last one we got so far, and I think they're going to only be coming in here, man. They got a lot of people that support you, Coach, and you know they're sad to see you go, but know there's big things on the way for you. Coach Pafunda, Jeff Pafunda, reached out to you too, so he's wishing you best of luck over in Sumner.
Hey, another great man that came over. I had the pleasure to interview Coach Pafunda when he came over from Armwood. Outstanding. What a great coach, but a better person. Outstanding. It was sad to see him go because he's one of the great guys in our sport in the coaching world.
Definitely. And then now I'll kind of leeway on that. So I had to kind of reach out to the fans a little bit. Jim wants to know, what was it like to start a brand new program? Obviously, you did it at Leonard, and then now you're going to Sumner. How do you plan to build it from scratch?
Well, like I said before, you may or may not remember, but I kill these 3 words, and I figured that these are the 3 words that best describe of what I want to see from my guys, and that's trust, honesty, and accountability, and build the program on those 3 pillars. What do I mean by those 3 pillars? Well, first, they got to trust that I know what I'm doing. I got to trust them by putting them on the field. They got to trust me. Parents got to trust me with their prized possession, which are their kids. Accountability. I hold them accountable in the classroom. I hold them accountable on the field. They hold me accountable for running a good game, running a good practice, bringing it every day. This is the one thing that everybody's told me, that I'm the calmest guy, and I smile and I laugh, but you put me between those white lines and the juices flow, and I bring it every day. And the one thing, and I tell my daughter this every day when we do practice, is the only time that I do get upset, I don't get upset of errors. They come and go. They're part of the game. It's when I feel someone is not giving me their best effort. Sure. And that's when I hold them accountable. Now, the honesty part comes when I got to be honest with the student athlete. I got to be honest with them when they come in and they say, Coach, I want to go to Florida State. And I said, okay, what are we doing to go to Florida State? You know what I mean? What are we doing to go to Florida? What are we doing? And that's where the trust, honesty, and accountability come, where you have to have these three pillars. Now, all those three things build a culture. If I don't live that culture of family, then that's where the program gets built, and the culture that you build. The wins, the losses, they come and go. The bad times come and go. The good times come and go. The steady thing is I was there for those 14 years. Through those 14 years, I had to be even keel for my kids. As we know, I missed a couple games here and there, misunderstanding with the umpires. But it's one of those things that you live that culture that you built. And that's how you build it. One of the things that I learned from my 14-year journey is patience. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day. You were part of this. I had 8 guys come out in my first tryout. And when I went to the weight room and I said, hey, anybody here play baseball before? And it's like, I think Andrew played a little baseball. Like, Andrew, I just need you for a couple of days a week, buddy. You know what I mean?
That's what it was.
to get the even 9, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I had a kid like Tim. Remember Tim? I mean,
definitely.
it's one of those kids that gave it your all, but, didn't have what it had to be a varsity athlete at that time. But
sure.
Those guys fought like heck. You know what I mean? Definitely. I mean, those earlier years, I got to reach out and thank those guys because they gave me every single thing they had. I want to thank you personally. I mean, they gave me everything. I mean, we were in a tough situation. I mean, the Berkeley Preps of the world, the Jesuits of the world.
St. Pete Catholic?
St. Pete Catholic at that time. But they were, Clearwater Central Catholic at that time.
There you go.
Clearwater Central, they were back-to-back state champs at that time. It was tough. But, if it doesn't kill you, you learn from it. You know what I mean? You never lose a game. You always learn from it. So we just did a lot of learning at the beginning of our career.
that's what we'll call that. Yeah. So one thing I want to just before we kind of switch gears here, we're getting a lot of feedback, man. Like unbelievable amount of feedback from the Leonard faithful. Either they graduated years ago, or but we know you meet it with everyone in mind. But so give us maybe a couple lines on this senior class, and what you would say to those guys, moving forward and all that. What's your pitch to them?
These are my guys, man. I seen these guys come in as 13, 14-year-olds, and now they're 18-year-old men. I mean, out of those guys, out of the 4, 3 of them are playing college baseball. One chose to go to Florida because he's very smart. Awesome. They gave me all. They gave me everything. They were leading their team this year. We were a little undermanned because we were younger. We had a lot of young guys playing, but at the same time, these older guys, they really stepped up. They really, really stepped up. I mean, it's an outstanding work ethic. They, I challenged them in the weight room and they responded. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. And, as well as I do is once you start investing time into your body, it's going to respond, and it's going to respond really well. And the demands of a baseball season, it's tough. Definitely. You need that muscle, and you need that muscle to recover, and you need that muscle to come back. But this senior class, man, I'm so proud of them and the way that they come in. 4 years, right when they came in, we were rocking and rolling. So they weren't no more coming in as a freshman and playing. They had to pay their dues at the JV level, which they succeeded and brought that up to the varsity level. I mean, these guys were a big part of our success last year. When we made our run to the regionals, they were right there in the thick of things. Just very, very proud. I mean, I can give you so many different adjectives. They're just amazing kids.
Definitely. Let me kind of go through some names for you that have already reached out, just so you understand the impact, you've left on the community, in this wonderful community we're in. You got Deuce Waller, John Duran.
Outstanding.
Yeah. John Duran. Let's play a little game here. No, let's play a little game. I'll say their name and you say one or two things about them real quick. How about that?
All right, sounds good.
Let's do it, man. All right, Deuce Waller.
Outstanding. Clutch.
That's the word. Okay.
Clutch.
John Duran.
Yes, sir. That's what came out of his mouth. Yes, sir.
Ricardo Sanjuro.
Oh, when I'm telling you, loves the game. If I can take that kid's heart and put it into anybody else's, that kid has the biggest heart, and that's how he has reached where he has gone. Sub-Zero. It's his nickname we gave him.
Okay.
He came up, his older brother used to play with us, and as a 7th grader, he used to want to catch bullpens, and I said, buddy, you're 3'8". Oh, I got it. He's Napoleon syndrome, baby, all the way. I'll go to war with that kid any day.
That's what's up. That's awesome. Good. That's big. Cameron LaSalle
gave me everything. I mean, he had a tough junior year. He dealt with a lot of physical ailments and gave me everything he had. And Cam, thank you for your service, brother. You're doing your thing out there. Thank you for giving me what you gave me, man. I know you're ailing there. You're hurting.
Miguel Figueroa.
Outstanding. Mr. Hustle himself. Miguel has outstanding hustle abilities. He's never stopped. His motor, tell you how smart this kid is. This kid is, when I challenged him as a freshman, I believe, to give me more, it didn't have to sell him twice. We have an award called, Hard Hat or Mr. Hustle. And Miguel was back-to-back winner, man, voted by his teammates.
Wow.
Outstanding. I mean, hustle everywhere. Yes, sir. No, sir. Bright future ahead of him. Once we find him that spot, he's got like 4 or 5 offers out there. You got to make that decision. And that'd be amazing to go see him play at the college level.
Awesome. Alex Williams.
Alex, outstanding. Alex came to us as a junior from another school. Really didn't know much people. And words from him and his mom were, we gave him family, to the point that he has come back and helps me out with the JV program. And it's coming over. That's how much I see him in high regards. He's coming over with me to Sumner and help me out with the JV program over there. Just outstanding. Well respected, outstanding kid. Just outstanding.
Yamil Varela.
Jamil is one of the funniest guys that you'll ever meet. When he came over, he just makes me laugh, and it makes me laugh just to think of him, of how much fun we had. But guess what? Small package, but I'll tell you what, gives you everything. Great player, actually. He actually surprised me in the sense that you put him in the mound, and he was a workhorse. He did not throw hard. He moved the ball around, and he went after hitters, which is one of my favorite things. He made a play where, not to take much of your time, but he made a play as Steinbrenner. He made a play as Steinbrenner. We were playing Steinbrenner High School, actually, at Steinbrenner. And there was a hot shot down, and he made an outstanding play. I mean, it just brought us up. I mean, we lost 2-1. They squeezed them in the 8th inning, but that's just the play that I remember that stands out. Jack of all trades, too. I said, hey, Jamil, you want to play left? Of course, coach. You told me where to play. I'm there. Jamil, you want to pitch? Of course. Jamil, you pitched yesterday. Oh, I don't care. I'm good. Wanted the ball every day. Could play third, play the outfield, put the bat on the ball. I mean, if he didn't get hurt his senior year, he would have been – we would have he had surgery in between junior and senior year. He would have been outstanding his senior year. He had an outstanding junior year.
Awesome. Yo-Yo.
He's one of the generational type of players that comes once in a generation, in the sense of this kid, we spend more time together believe it or not, than most players. And we talked about everything. Talk about a player that you love just for the simple fact that he takes what you're saying and brings it out to the field. There was a term that I used with last year's team that resonated around that group, and is when I said man up, they manned up, and they knew exactly what I was talking about. And nobody else but that right there, just Yo-Yo is one of those kids that his energy level brings the whole team up. Yeah. And we discussed this numerous times on the way to the weight room at 6 a.m. I mean, when we had weight room 6 a.m, I would pick him up, and he'll be the first one there. He wanted to go after, and he's the epitome of a gym rat where, I see so many big things from this kid. He's such a small package, but God blessed him. God put his hand on him and said, listen, you're going to be a baseball player. And I don't care if you're 5'6". I know he says he's 5'9", but he's 5'6". And he just outstanding all around. I mean, Javier and Nancy did an outstanding job in the work ethic. I mean, it's humbled to an extent when you got to bring him down, because he wears that little Napoleon. He reminds me of Sub-Zero, because their heart is bigger than they are. They play the game the right way, and Yo-Yo played it hard. And, I know the Michael Jordan series is out there right now, and about Michael Jordan talks about he just wants to win and the will to win no matter what the cost. That was Yo-Yo in a nutshell. The end game was what he wanted. The end game. The end game was, let's win this game. And you're my family. We're going to move forward. We're going to go to war together. I know that term's thrown around, but he's one of those kids that's going to go far because he's not going to let himself fail. Definitely. He hates failure. Failure is not in his vocabulary. Definitely.
Adrian Munos.
One of my favorite kids. Adrian came to me at 3'8". He worked his butt off. Outstanding. Where the point that he fell in love, he was one of Yo-Yo's boys, and they fell in love with the weight room. I mean, that was the first and foremost. As sophomores, Adrian started getting a little muscle and started putting the bat on the ball. I wanted him to play third base as a freshman, and his eyes got real big. And by his senior year, he wanted to play third base and play right on top of him. One of the things he came, and if there's a player that shows you what we do with players at Leonard, Adrian's one of them. Adrian came to Leonard like 3'8", like I told you, and he became all second team, first conference, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He was first or second team all first conference, or first Western Conference, and second team all Western Conference. And it just signified the work that was put in by him, by Coach Victor, by me with him, and he wanted to be there. And one of the things when Yo-Yo came on the scene, Adrian's game came up because they were best friends, and they wanted to move and they wanted to improve and the work ethic. I mean, that's the one thing that I can say about Adrian is work ethic. I mean, when you say baseball player, he's a baseball player. He wanted to get down and dirty and loved when he played third base and he was right on top of the hitter. And you go, hey, man, you got to back up. No, I'm good, coach. That smile I will never forget from Adrian.
Awesome.
Outstanding family, by the way.
Alec McNeff.
Say that again. I couldn't hear.
Alec McNeff. Alec,
outstanding. Alec is one of those players that come. If he wouldn't got hurt right now, I mean, we'd be talking about Division I player right now. Can hit from both sides. He fought me on that. He fought me. Can flat out go get it in the outfield. I mean, flat out go get it in the outfield. This is a funny story about Alec. I met Alec when he was at a baseball camp. He was, I believe, 9 years old. And he's like, we're doing outfield drills. And he said, Coach, hit it over my head again. Hit it over my head. And this kid goes to the wall and does a Willie Mays over the head catch. And I said, who is this kid? He goes, Coach, I'm going to Leonard. I said, damn right you are. So, I mean, I known him since he was 9, 10 years old, and what an outstanding athlete. Outstanding. I mean, he fought me from hitting from the left side, but he's going to agree that that's one of the best things he ever did. He's a switch hitter, never wanted to do it. We got him to do it, and he was a 300 hitter in high school. I mean, 320 hitter, career hitter. It's a big accomplishment.
That's awesome. Jordan Rutherford.
Jordan, I know Jordan also as well since he's like 8 years old. Little guy, grew into his feet. He's always a little guy with big feet. We actually used to go to church together. His dad's a pastor. And one of the things, Jordan's always all over the place. I mean, he has so much energy. It was uncontrollable. He gave me everything he had. I mean, one of the things, Jordan came into a very talented group. I mean, this group, you know what I mean? Think of it this way. He's playing college baseball from a reserve role that he had with us. He's actually playing baseball. That's and, awesome. You know, and that's tough to do from a reserve role that he had. I mean, that group that we had was outstanding outfielders, that group. But he gave me everything he had, which was outstanding. Another great family. Rutherford family is a great family.
Keith Harden.
Keith is, you know, just a monster of a man. That's all I can tell you. Keith came on my campus and I said, "Sir, who are you? Can I help you, sir?" And he's like, "Hey, I'm Keith." And at that time, he just turned 15 at 6'2", 225 pounds. And I said, "You play football?" He said, "No, I just play baseball." I said, "Thank you, Jesus." One of the most gifted athletes that I have ever had. Can run like the wind, strong like an ox, great hand-eye coordination. If I may, one story about Keith, we were playing in the Saladino tournament. What an outstanding at-bat. And I know the Gator coach will wish he'd take this back. We had second and third. They call a timeout. He goes and the Gator coach calls timeout. He goes and meets with the pitcher. I bring Keith in, and I say, "Keith, they're going to walk you. First base is open. Be very, very careful because they're going to walk you." And he said, "You think so?" I said, yeah, I think they're going to walk you. They would be smart. It's one out. We got second and third. And, you know, we're down 2 runs, Keith. I mean, what are you? You're not going to be, you know, get the double play in that. He goes, "All right." First pitch comes down the middle. He hits it about 450 feet for a 3-run home run to win the game. And wow. What an outstanding feeling that was. I mean, there's probably video out there, but that's one of those moments of Leonard baseball that I would never forget. I would take that to the grave, that moment. The funny part about that is if you see the video circulating out there, you see me pushing people out of the way because they're so happy and jubilant that Keith forgets to touch home plate. And the umpire is standing there. So I'm pulling Keith to come touch home plate, and I'm pushing kids around. And I mean, we're celebrating at home after he touched home plate because, you know, I would have to pay that $650 fine on that one if they would have thrown me out because they called Keith out on that one. Especially at Jesuit. We were playing at Jesuit. That was just a monster of a shot. The next day, it was pretty funny because we're Keith is up and first base is open. I think we're playing, I don't know who we're playing the next day at the Saladino tournament at Jesuit. And you hear the fans from Gator, walk him. And Gator ended up winning the state championship that year. I mean, those are just crazy moments, awesome moments. But what a horse. I mean, you know, we call that in Dominican terms, Dominican baseball called that caballo, you know, so he's the horse. He's the man. So that's Keith.
Eli Wilborn.
Eli is like a jitterbug with so much energy, like a spring. And when you let that spring, it's like a crazy horse. And he just full of energy. He was another turning point of this whole program. Eli had moved in from the East Coast. He had told me he had played a little varsity, a little JV. And when I saw this kid's hands, I said, this is godsend. I needed a shortstop at that time. He's one of those kids that an athlete playing baseball. He could have easily played basketball. He could have easily played football. He was just a pure athlete. I'm very proud that he ended up playing some college baseball as well, because that wasn't in his cards at first, and because he didn't think he was good enough. But what an athlete! What hand-eye coordination! What smooth game he had! And I'll tell you what a great teammate he was. Yo-Yo came on the scene, and Yo-Yo played a little second at that time. Eli was my shortstop, and like I told you before about trust, honesty, and accountability, the trust factor. I went to Eli and I said, Eli, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, bud. I love you, but I think this kid can play short. Do you mind sliding over to second? He goes, Coach, all I want to do is win. And that's what we did that year, win. And just because of that culture that a kid like an Eli came through, I mean, we won, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun with that team. That was a great group that kind of turned things around for us.
Randy Kalamarez.
Randy. Randy is one of those kids that he came through a JV program, and he really didn't have a position. Okay, let me just say that. So Randy said, hey, Coach, I pitch a little bit. I said, okay, well, you're hitting like 085 in the outfield, so that's probably a good choice. He goes, no, I pitch. I said, okay. Randy only came in his senior year and got the biggest outs that we needed. When we needed an out, Randy would come in and just get out. I mean, he had like nice little slider, curveball with a fastball that got on top of you, and he surprised the living, crap out of people, because the state champ, Plant City, playing on senior night, I said, Randy, hey man, we gave up a couple runs, have no outs. I need you to come in and just, eat some innings up. He said, hey, Coach, I got you. I think 5 pitches and we're out of the inning. I mean, what heart. That whole group they were the epitome of family, you know what I mean? Of him, Deuce, that whole group is outstanding. Like Tyler, John, they all hung out together and they all just made fun of each other constantly. And it was pretty funny how that group just hung with each other all the time.
Sebastian Munoz.
Smooth, outstanding, capability out the world. He has the it factor he doesn't know he has. If he can match it up with his work ethic and put his mind to the athletic ability that God gave him, this kid can go far in baseball. I mean, his hands are outstanding. He has the body type. Coach Vic and I always mess around. He has skinny power. You're like, what is this skinny kid? And before you know it, he pops one. And you said, where did that come from? And that's all core. That's all, hand-eye. And he can be outstanding, not just a regular baseball player, but he can take over a game if he allows himself to develop where we see him developing.
Edward Tarrant.
Oh, big donkey, man. He's the ace. Edward wanted the ball every time. Edward was outstanding. I have never seen, since my catching days, a 12-6 hook like Edward's. Edward had the dirtiest 12-6. And he also had an outstanding knuckleball, which he developed later on. And for some reason, we couldn't develop just a regular changeup. He didn't trust it. He's like, one day in the bullpen, he's like, Coach, I can, excuse me, I have this knuckleball. What do you want to see it? And I said, oh, yeah, we're throwing that. And it was just outstanding. I mean, big game pitcher. I would take 10 of him. When the game's on the line, you want him on the mound. Plus power, man. I remember him, Levy, Yo-Yo, that whole group used to sit in BP and just try to hit absolute tanks, just lose my balls because they just hit home run after home run in batting practice. And another cool moment with Edward was, obviously we're all going to remember him on the mound, but we were at that time playing Strawberry Crest on a Saturday. It was a bullpen day, which basically we just threw everybody that we had. That was our third game of the week. Strawberry Crest was which outstanding. They went to the state final game. We're down 2-1, and the kid keeps throwing him sliders. He's down 0-2. He throws another slider in the dirt, and then he hangs a slider, and Edward hits a tank to left field. I mean, just clutch home run. We won the game. That's just one of those moments that you never forget. Just outstanding on the mound. What a stud on the mound.
Max Goodnight.
Max put the work in. I mean, he put the work in. Max was out of shape when he first came. He'll admit it to you. One of the quirkiest, funniest kids. Him and I didn't see eye to eye because I had to figure out his humor at first, and cares. Max just cares about his teammates. He cared about the team. And one of the hardest things that I had to do this year was we were about to get ready for Saladino, and I got the phone call. And Max just happened to tell me the day before that he got accepted to the University of Florida, and we were all excited about it. And he knew his baseball career was over this year. And he was going to play it out, and he, loved the game. And when I was telling the players that we were done because it's COVID-19, it hit me hard because I knew Max and I thought of Max. But Max worked himself into a varsity baseball player. I don't know if you've seen Max from his freshman year to now. He put in the work. I think, he lost between 60 to 70 pounds, made himself athletic, made himself and broke into the lineup. Outstanding, smart, one of the smartest kids I know as well.
I do remember those days. I do. I was there. Tyler John.
Daffy Duck. I mean, he's one of the funniest kids. He just makes me laugh. I would turn around and I say, Tyler. He goes, huh? And he'll give you that look, and it just makes me laugh no matter how mad I was. But the essence of a lefty pitcher is Tyler John. I mean, he is the epitome of being lefty. Just funny all around. Just constantly, did everything we asked for him. Everything we asked from the team standpoint, Tyler was there. Tyler, go in and throw now. Okay, Coach. Tyler, you're going to start against the defending state champs or the state champs, Plant City. Okay, Coach. I mean, just outstanding. I mean, those are the kids that build a program because Tyler is just the epitome of team player. He's awesome.
That's good stuff. All right, and last that we got so far, and I'll kind of end it with another question, but this is our last player that we had reach out, Gabriel Mangual.
Gabe is crazy speed. I mean, when Gabe gets down the line, he's got to be one of the fastest kids that I have seen going down the line. And can play a mean treble on the band, too, by the way. He can, or a cymbal. I don't know what that's called, the little, one of those things. But can flat out go get it in the outfield. When I'm talking about work ethic, this kid is a work ethic. He'll go from us to the band and back and forth. And I got to give to that kid. The kid has made himself into a varsity baseball player. He was well into, these 6-7 games that we played this year. He was hitting over 300 and solidifying his spot in the lineup where he was going to be moving up here soon because his speed and his putting the bat on the ball dictated. I mean, love the kid. Great parents, by the way. Outstanding parents.
All right. So let's end it with this. We've got about 30 minutes in. What do you see from this beginning year for the Sumner Stingrays? What can we expect to see when we go and play in 2021?
I'm hoping that you're going to see a well-coached team that doesn't beat themselves, that plays good defense, hopefully pitches the ball well. Again, plays solid all the way around. Hustles. They just completely hustle. Dirtbag in all the sense of the word, where they're gamers. They're not going to stop. You're up 10, down 10, you're going to play hard, regardless. Like I tell my teams from these guys in the past 14 years, you reflect on your coach, you reflect on me. And I love this game so much. And this game has given me opportunities to go around the world. You know what I mean? It's gives you opportunities to see things that you don't see, meet people. There's no other place in the world where a game brings you together as a team. And what you're going to see, hopefully, at Sumner is a team that hustles, that plays hard, and never gives up. They don't matter if you're overmatched. A team that, you don't got to be big. You just got to play big. And that's the beauty about baseball.
Man. Well, Kennedy, it was a pleasure. Thank you for your time. We definitely, as you see, you definitely reached a lot of people in this community, and myself also. It's, you've helped a lot of people. One last thing we got, and by the way, I just want to let you know from all the players, they had a lot of nice things to say about you also. All right, so this is a mutual thing, and that's a great way to leave a legacy, like you mentioned. And then we have one more that just popped up for me. So here we go, Adonis Colon.
Adonis, we actually spent a lot of time 8th period because he had basketball or just worked himself into a baseball player. Gave me everything he had. He came from a bad situation, the place that we won't name. The Sharks up the street, and he felt at home when he came to us. He didn't feel welcome by those coaches over there, but we made him feel at home, and he's worked himself into a varsity player. If I may, I want to reach out to every single one of my old players, my former players. As I told you before, I love every single one of you guys. You can call me at any time if you need help. It's one of those that, just like we talked, once you make the team, you become family. And we discuss family throughout. We have a lot of life lessons. I am going to miss our little wind chat at the end when shh, and they know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss our rituals that we had at the end of the year. You know what I mean? And I feel bad for our seniors that don't have to miss that. But as they all know, I love every single one. It's like I told them all the time, I only have daughters. I have 2 daughters, and they were my sons. And at that point, I treated them as such. And sometimes they got the good Duran, and sometimes they got the bad one. But at the end of the day, they knew that I loved them, and it wasn't anything personal at that time that we wouldn't one of the key things that they love to hear is 325. 325, let's go get it. One of the things, let's go do some running. Another term that they're going to remember is that I said, we're going to run until I get tired. And you always hear, you're not going to get tired, you're not running. Triangles. They love triangles. They love, they just love it. They love the medicine ball. They love the early morning, getting to the weight room. I mean, I miss those things. Those guys were workers. They workers. And that's the only way. That's the only way we got what we got to. Very proud of every single one of them.
Yeah, you can hear it in your voice. It's definitely, it's going to be, a gift and a curse, if you will. A lot of pros and cons with the the new move, but hopefully it's well for you and your family. And we appreciate your time, Coach. So from here at Streamline Tampa, just like to thank our sponsors again, Lucas AC Services. Thanks for you again, the OG. Gametime Prospects, David Sampson. We appreciate it, man. Llerandi at Randy Gloves. ASTV, again, that's your #1 source for amateur sports. Our friends from the Great White North. And then even a little ABSportsPerformance. If you're looking to get your fitness level up, or hey, let me hit some of those 450-foot bombs. Hit that guy, Andrew Burdick. He seems like a pretty good coach. All right. So, yeah, we appreciate it. So we'll talk soon, Coach, and best of luck with your year.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, and much success to you guys. God bless.